Hi everybody, we are going to start with we're going to do some hip mobility today. So we're going to start lying on your mat. Take your feet about just a bit wider than hip width, and just lean back onto the arms. I'm going to do some hip rotation here. So just taking your knees over to one side and just going as far as your hips allow without really lifting your hip completely off. So that will be different for different people. Just feeling a bit of a stretch down the outer leg and maybe in the inner leg of the other leg. Feeling how you're kind of massaging into your glute muscles. Have a bit of softness to the elbows and just think about engaging through your shoulder blades so that you're not dumping into your arms. Good job. Okay. I'm going to come and lie down onto your back. Grab a pillow if that's more comfortable for you. And we're just going to open the knees out wide to the side. Just take a couple breaths here. Feel your belly and chest rise up and out. And as you exhale, let those legs fall a little bit further apart if that's comfortable. Never push into anything uncomfortable. I like to keep stretches kind of mild to moderate, never intense, and always with the breath. If we can think about kind of letting go on our exhale and breathing into any areas of tension, then we can relax our nervous system, and that allows muscle tension to kind of ease away. Think about opening up into the pelvic muscles, like you're widening through the sit bones. Good job. Bring the knees back up about hip width, hands down by your sides. And don't worry if your hip rises up with this one on the top leg. We're going to float the knees over to one side. Take a bit of a stretch into the side waist. Come back through the middle and over to the other side. So we're going to inhale as we go over to one side. Exhale back to center. Good job. Just getting a little bit of low back rotation, stretching out into the side of the hips and the waist. Think about lengthening the top knee away from the shoulder. A little interruption by my cat. Good job. And then we're going to hug the right knee in towards your body. And if you feel a stretch here into the right glute or the inner thigh, then you can rest here. But if you want a little bit more, you can kind of start to walk the left leg away. And you might even want to go for a straight leg. So just see what feels good for you. If you feel like your low back's really being pulled away from the mat, you might want to bend that knee a little bit. Now think about just breathing into any areas of tension. Really opening up again into those pelvic muscles, the inner thighs and the hips. Think about sending your breath into the low back, softening through the jaw, the shoulders, even the eye muscles. Good job. We're going to stretch that leg up towards the ceiling. Don't worry if you need a bit of a bend in it, or if you need to have it a bit, not quite at 90 degrees. See what's comfortable. And just flex and bend through your foot, just to get a bit of a stretch through the hamstring and the calf. Flexing through that ankle. You can even do a couple of circles in each direction. Good job. Nice. Bring that right leg back down, bring that left leg in, give it a hug. Remember, you can bend the right knee if that means your low back can settle a bit more, or if the stretch is just too intense. And then again, breathing into it. Just letting everything soften as you exhale. Think about sending the breath down into the pelvic muscles, into the low belly. Good job. Then we're going to straighten that leg up and bend and flex through the ankle. Straighten the knee as much as feels comfortable. And then we'll do a couple of circles in each direction, just to really stretch into the hamstrings. calf muscles and flossing a little bit through the sciatic nerve. Really nice. We'll bring both knees in and just have a little rock and roll from side to side. Just kind of massaging into those low back muscles, our adductors. Nice. Okay. Good job. We're going to cross your right leg over the left and just gently, using the hand or the muscles in the hip, send that right knee away from your body. And flexing the right ankle, so bringing the shin towards bringing the foot towards the shin, can be helpful just to protect the knee ligaments. And if you need more here, you're just going to lift that other leg up and give it a bit of a hug. Let's try and soften the shoulders down. You might feel like you need to lift up a bit to get there, that's fine. Breathe into it. Think about really sending the breath into that right sit bone. And bring your awareness again to that whole area. Just let everything melt. Good job. I'm going to change sides. Excuse me. So just bending that left leg over the right knee. If you need a bit more, hugging that right knee in towards you and gently pressing that left knee away from you with those hip muscles or with the left hand. Try with this figure 4 stretch to keep your tailbone down on the mat. If you feel like you really have to lift up through the low back to get there, then it might be better to just do this stretch with the other leg down on the floor and focus on pushing that knee away. Okay, really, really nice. So we're going to finish here with a stretch on our hands and knees. Now, for some people, they don't like this on their wrists. What I would say to that is we want to kind of build that bit of strength in the wrist. So you can always, if it's really uncomfortable, think about really spreading your hands apart and engaging through your shoulder blades, or you can always switch to fists. Okay, so have the knees underneath the hips and the hands under the shoulders, and have a fairly flat back, right? We don't want to be rounded or kind of really dumped, kind of halfway between the two. Feet can be bent or flat, whatever feels good. Now just bring your hand onto the spine and come all the way down to the bottom, right down to that tailbone. And then focus on where that is and just think about drawing a circle with it. So imagine you've got kind of a pencil on the end of it and you want to do a big circle. And you're going to make that circle with the hips and the pelvis and the low back. Good job. And feel how your abdominals slightly engage as you kind of curl that low back in. Now, what I often see is that people have a really hard time actually getting that low back flexion. So really try and focus on really kind of getting that tuck of the tail as you come down. And that comes from our abs, our hip flexors, and also our hamstrings. Good job. Nice. And then we're going to change direction. So notice as you're doing these circles, if you can kind of keep a bit of engagement through the shoulder blades. And notice if there's kind of parts of those hip circles that don't really feel very smooth. And just kind of get curious about it. None of us are symmetrical. That's not the goal. Really good. Okay, nice. So we're just going to finish off with a little bit of an opener for our hip rotators and our pelvic floor. So I'll show you lying this way because sometimes it's easier to see what my feet are doing. You're going to lie down all the way down, okay, the bottom of my feet, and you're going to inhale and open up the kneecaps and the feet, so the hips outwardly rotate. And then as you exhale, you're going to internally rotate the hips. So toes and knees in particular point inwards and the hips inwardly rotate. Okay, I'm going to stop making you look at my feet. Okay, so we're inhaling to open up those hips. Exhale to rotate back in. I find I need my hips to be a little bit wider than hip width to allow for that inward rotation on the exhale. Inhale, opening up. Often people think they're doing this and they're actually just moving their feet in and out. So check what your thigh bone is doing. Maybe place your hands on your thigh bone to get that feedback. Exhale, turning in. One more here. Inhale, opening up. And exhale, closing. Really good. Okay. We are all done. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.